In the village of Lyptsi, Ukrainian forces appear to have blunted Russia's surprise offensive. A few weeks ago they were rapidly advancing towards Kharkiv. With the help of reinforcements, Ukraine is slowly stemming the tide. The threat from the north, though, has not gone away. Lyptsi is still a target. There's the heavy thud of shells landing nearby as we drive at speed through its ruined and deserted streets with an elite Ukrainian unit. Two of the team point shotguns out of the window. They scan the sky for kamikaze drones. Kamikaze or FPV drones become one of the most potent weapons of this war, and Ukrainian unit are about to use them too. They call themselves the Peaky Blinders, after the cult TV series. Oleksandr, their leader, says at the outbreak of the war they turned up to guard their streets with shotguns, wearing civilian clothing. But they're no longer a ragtag team of volunteers, and they're now battle-hardened and have been trained by Western special forces. They now the high-tech Peaky Blinders, using cheap, mass-produced small drones. Nevertheless, they've kept the name and wear flat caps in camouflage, with their motto embroidered on the back, "To find and destroy." Over the past few weeks, Oleksandr has literally been fighting for his home. He used to farm the fields nearby their dugout hidden in a tree line. Since the offensive began, the Peaky Blinders team say they have killed or injured more than 100 Russian soldiers, and they operate like a small air force with dozens of drones and an arsenal of bombs, ones to take out tanks, others to target groups of infantry or individual soldiers. They either drop the bombs or use kamikaze drones, which they fly directly into a target. They're also known as first-person view, or FPV drones. The Russians too, like them, have worked out ways to jam their signals using electronic warfare. When the Peaky Blinders eventually do find a new target, their signal gets blocked before they can go in for the kill, and they can lose 4 or 5 drones in a day. Despite the setbacks, Oleksandr says the Kharkiv offensive has given his tired men a second wind. Before they feared the world was losing interest, but he knows that's still a danger, with no end in sight. He says he expects the conflict to last a very long time, while to push the Russians back to their border, he says Ukraine will need colossal Western support. But for now, this latest Russian offensive is being thwarted. Oleksandr, head of Kharkiv's military administration, believes the original plan was to go all the way to the city of Kharkiv. He told media that recently captured Russian soldiers had revealed their goal was to take the town of Vovchansk in 2 days, and to reach Kharkiv city within 5 days. While President Putin has denied that taking the city was part of his plan, and Governor Syniehubov believes that eventually the Russians can be pushed back to the border just as they were in 2022, but he adds liberating the territory is only half the battle. The other half is to keep it. Russia has lost more than 500,000 troops since the start of its full-scale invasion. According to Ukraine's latest figures, signaling the huge cost Vladimir Putin's war is having on his own personnel. In its latest update on Saturday, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry said that Russian forces had lost 1,140 troops the previous day, the 12th day in a row that its estimate was more than 1,000. The daily tally, which includes those who are both killed and injured, has been creeping up in recent months, especially as Russian momentum has been gathering in the Donetsk Oblast, and 2 weeks into an offensive in the northeast of Kharkiv where Moscow's troops have captured settlements by the border. On May 12th, the tally hit a record 1,740, beating the previous record from October 19, 2023, of 1,380 personnel. That previous record was also beaten 3 times in the last fortnight, with 1,510 troop losses reported on May 14th, 1,410 on May 16th, and 1,400 on May 19th. Friday's total has brought the number of losses since the war started on February 24, 2022, to the grim milestone of 500,080. As by several media outlets covering the Russian-Ukrainian war has previously reported, casualty counts and equipment losses are notoriously difficult to pin down, and experts caution that both sides likely inflate the other's reported losses. But the figures do offer some indication of the scale of the war's impact, deep into its third year and as Russia launches a new offensive in northeastern Ukraine. Getting an accurate count on Russian losses is tricky, and Moscow has not updated its figures since September 2022 when it said the death toll stood at 5,937, which at the time was considered by Western experts as an underestimate. Ukraine's figures are broadly in line with other estimates by its allies, with French Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné saying on May 3 that Paris believes Russian military losses stood at 500,000, including 150,000 deaths. British Armed Forces Minister Leo Docherty said last month that the UK estimates Russian losses at over 450,000 killed or wounded, and tens of thousands more have already deserted. However, he said the number of troops serving with Russian private military companies was not clear. Meanwhile, a U.S. intelligence report from December put Russian losses at 315,000, which it said represented 90% of its pre-invasion force and was not far short at the Ukrainian figure at the time of 340,650. An ongoing open-source investigation by Mediazona, a Russian independent media outlet working with BBC Russia, puts the number of confirmed dead Russian soldiers as of Saturday at 54,185 based on public records, although the project says that the real number is much higher. Putin signed a decree in December 2023 giving families of soldiers killed in the war 5 million rubles, $55,450, and 3 million rubles, $33,270, to those wounded. Despite the losses, more than 100,000 men signed contracts during the first 3 months of 2024, according to the Russian Defense Ministry.